Hi friends. Today I want to reflect briefly on the life and legacy of Howard Thurman. Thurman was born in Daytona Beach, Florida in November of 1899. At that time, there was no high school for black children in Daytona Beach, and so at the age of 14, his family sent him to a boarding school in Jacksonville. They dropped him off at the train station with enough money for his fare, but they hadn't considered the cost of shipping his trunk. So Thurman, being a young teenager and alone and thinking that his life was doomed, sat down and cried. A stranger asked what was wrong, and Thurman explained, and the stranger paid to have his luggage shipped. Thurman credited that stranger with changing the trajectory of his life by, quote, restoring his broken dreams, end quote. Thurman continued his education at Morehouse College and at Colgate-Rochester Divinity School. He was an ordained clergyperson in the Baptist Church. From 1926 to 1928, he served a Baptist church in Oberlin, Ohio. In 1944, he co-founded the Church for the Fellowship of All People in San Francisco. It was really the first interracial congregation intentionally designed to break through the barriers that separated people on the basis of race or color, creed, or national origin. In 1953, he moved to Boston to serve as the dean of the chapel at Boston University. He was the first black dean of the chapel in a predominantly white institution. His work in San Francisco and in Boston are just two examples of Thurman's philosophy and theology of common ground, teaching that humans need to seek an inner spiritual strength and joy that would then lead them to share that experience in community with others. He dedicated his life to building a community in which people could acknowledge their differences and yet elevate their common human ties. He visualized a world where racial, ethnic, or religious barriers did not serve as roadblocks to creating meaningful relationships. That philosophy and theology are grounded in the identity and example of Jesus, especially how his life and teaching embraced and uplifted the suffering and the oppressed. Thurman wrote, "What then is the word of the religion of Jesus to those who stand with their backs against the wall? There must be the clearest possible understanding of the anatomy of the issues facing them. They must recognize fear, deception, hatred, each for what it is. And once having done this, they must learn how to destroy these or to render themselves immune from their domination. In so great an undertaking, it will become increasingly clear that the contradictions of life are not ultimate. The disinherited will know for themselves that there is a spirit at work in life and in the hearts of men, which is committed to overcoming the world. It is universal, knowing no age, no race, no culture, and no condition of men. For the privileged and underprivileged alike, if the individual puts at the disposal of the Spirit the needful dedication and discipline, he can live effectively in the chaos of the present, the high destiny of a child of God." May we dedicate and discipline ourselves to find common ground, to show kindness to strangers, to relieve the suffering and the oppressed, and to live like Jesus with the help of the Holy Spirit. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you again soon.